If you've ever wondered what happens to people when they're asked to vote on something that they don't quite fully understand, well, then welcome to Norfolk County Council. Because what you're about to witness is less local government in action and more group project where nobody actually read the assignment. The discussion starts with one councillor practically begging someone, anyone, to explain what they're voting for. The leadership? Silent. The deputy leader? Silent. Everyone else? Apparently studying the intricate pattern on the carpet. Then comes the accusation that the councillors are about to vote based on the headline figure rather than understanding the role that they're cutting. Not exactly a ringing endorsement when running a county council. The debate unfolds. We hear concerns that nobody has actually discussed any alternatives. Nobody seems particularly informed, and somewhere along the line the chamber manages to descend into chaos. Jeering, like a rowdy pub quiz gone wrong. And just when you think it can't get any more awkward, one councillor suggests that if their goal is to sabotage brand new administration, this is exactly how they'd do it. So grab a brew, because this meeting turns very quickly into a masterclass in why, have we actually thought this through, is sometimes a very important question. Let's go.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I'm waiting with bated breath. The leader of the council has got nothing to say. The deputy leader of the council has got nothing to say on this point, or has reserved his right. None of the other reformed councillors have put their hands up on this because they have nothing to say. So I thought I'd better put my hand up because I appreciate you've all had a very intensive induction over the last 2 weeks and have covered many departments of this council. I doubt if you've had any discussion or explanation on a political assistant or how they fit into democratic services. I would respectfully say your silence means you don't know what you're voting for on this, and you have simply seen a headline figure and are thinking, yeah, we'll go with that. And maybe that's a sign. And maybe that's a sign of things to come at this council. I would refer again to what Councillor Watkins has said. You may wish to see how your colleagues in Kent and Warwickshire have acted on this issue. They've actually created these posts rather than actually filling ones that already existed because they saw that they were needed within their democratic services structure. I think it's a shame that you've not taken the opportunity to have some time to think about this and see how these roles fit in to what you need as an administration. So I would respectfully say we should vote against today.
Okay, so can we just pause for a moment here? We're less than a minute into the debate, and we've already reached a point where the councillor is openly saying, I don't think we know what we're voting for. That's not exactly the most confidence-inspiring sales pitch one would expect to hear before making big major staffing decisions. The argument here isn't even really about the role itself anymore. It's about whether or not anyone's been given enough information to make the decision in the first place. And judging by the silence being described, the atmosphere appears to be somewhere between carefully considering the evidence and hoping no one asks a follow-up question.
Councillor Neal. Thank you, Chair. I think my colleague here has eloquently put forward the case of that we haven't been well informed, and it's very sketchy what's in this proposal, apart from the massive guillotine of cutting without... I would like to know, has any consideration been to actually look at reducing the hours of the political assistants? It seems either or. Because that could be a discussion also if we'd have taken it away from here. Because it could be that we decided that instead of doing a full-time job, it could be a part-time job or whatever. And I don't see anything here because there's never been discussed with our group, so I can't say. And yes, I agree with Councillor Roper. It's very easy for those parties that have got... shall I say, high financial backers who can provide private assistance to take this. But that's only me just being a sceptic. Sorry.
Councillor Shires.
Can I just say I'm really disappointed to hear we've got jeering. in this chamber. We do not experience that. It's not politics. It might be what you see in Westminster, but in Norfolk, we do not behave like that. We allow people to speak. Discounts the price. For the worst. For the worst. If we are in a position where somebody speaks in this chamber and we do not respect them enough to let them finish a sentence, then we are in dire straits. That is appalling. But however, if I had wanted to sabotage a brand new group of councillors who hadn't done this before, the first thing I would propose would be the removal of the political assistance.
Well, that escalated quickly. We've gone from debating staff structures to having to remind grown adults not to jeer during council proceedings. Apparently, somebody speaking without interruption has become so rare that it now requires an official announcement. But then comes the real sting in the tail. After all the talks about saving and restructuring, we're told that if somebody wanted to make life as difficult as possible for a brand new group of councillors, one of the first things that they would do would be to remove the very people who helped them to navigate the system. At this point, the meeting has transformed from a budget discussion into a political version of watching someone remove all the parts from an aircraft whilst it's already taxiing down the runway. Another meeting concluded, another debate finished, another few hours of political theatre safely added to the archive. The speeches have been made, the points have been scored, the interruptions have been interrupted. The expressions of disappointment have been expressed, and somewhere deep in the distance is an actual problem still sitting there patiently waiting for attention. Because that's often the strange thing about politics. The world's a stage and everyone has their part to play. Some deliver dramatic monologues, some specialised in shocked reaction. Some master the art of saying absolutely nothing whilst appearing incredibly busy. And every so often, an entire room of adults can spend 20 minutes arguing over who's read the script whilst the audience ponders on what happened to the plot. Meanwhile, outside the chamber, roads will still have potholes, bills will still arrive, services still need funding, and people still have the same concerns that they had before the meeting, after the meeting. The curtain rises, the actors enter, the debate unfolds. The audience applauds, boos, or falls asleep. Then the curtains fall, the lights dim, and the real world carries on exactly where it left off. And perhaps the lesson from all of this? Politics often resembles a travelling theatre production. The characters change, the costumes change, the slogans change, and the villains and heroes change depending on who's holding the microphone. But the underlying problems is that they are the longest serving cast members of all, and they never miss a performance. Until next time, keep an eye on the stage, enjoy the show, and remember, whenever politicians tell you that they're tackling big problems, it's worth checking whether they're actually fixing the roof or whether they're just arguing over who holds the ladder. Let me know what you think in the comments below, enjoy your day, and I'll see you in the next video.